are you voting for mayor?
It doesn't matter who you want to be mayor. You vote for who you don't want to be mayor. And you do not want Zoran Mamdani, whatever his name is, to be anywhere close to that office. There are like easily 3 distinct reasons, but really more, that you do not want that. And people don't understand what it's like to elect a Muslim socialist until they elect a Muslim socialist. You could ask our friends in London, how many years has Sadiq Khan been mayor there? How's that going?
What do you think will happen in New York City if Zoran does win?
You know, there'll be a few immediate things. One, if you're Jewish or Christian, you're going to feel extremely unsafe. You're going to be looking at a lot of the sort of Muslim street and Antifa style element behaving like complete animals because they no longer have any limitations. The police are on their side, right? Second of all, you're going to see tremendous crime. Those same liberal white girls that are probably going to be why Mamdani wins, if he does, are going to be the first on the chopping block. And it's going to be awfully satisfying, grimly so, when they're the ones getting sexually harassed in the subway, because guess what? They're the first in line. Because there's no one protecting them, and they're gonna wonder about their vote at that point. But of course, by then,
Why do you say awfully satisfying?
Huh?
Why do you say awfully satisfying?
Because there is something deeply satisfying about someone facing the unintended consequences of their actions. I don't find it satisfying because I like it; it's horrendous. But the fact that they actively voted for this while claiming people like myself and yourself are racist, are fascist, are Nazis. Let's see if they think that way still when they're getting sexually assaulted by some guy who should either be in prison or mental asylum. Cuomo's not great. I never thought in a million years I would advocate for Cuomo. He killed all those people with the nursing homes. He was just kind of just a long time. His dad, I think was, if I recall correctly, was governor. Like, he's a long time political hack. But I'll take a political Democrat hack over a Muslim socialist.
I don't really agree with the thinking that I think a lot of people are going through in this current timeline that we're living in. Everybody is not this extreme version of what is represented in political conversation, right? Mamdani being a Muslim socialist does not mean that he's going to bring jihad to New York. You know what I mean? And I understand that we're at a point where people feel like calling that kind of talking racist or just plain, just against the community. People are taking offense to that. I mean, it's an offensive thing to associate somebody with such low things because of their political ideology. And I think that definitely is the issue that we have socially right now in the world. A lot of you watching my videos are not subscribing, and it makes me feel like pretty bad. Like, what, am I not entertaining enough for you guys? What, am I not good enough? You know what I mean? And that hurts because I felt like that my entire life. And I don't want to continue to feel like that. So I need you guys to subscribe. Donnie is the first socialist I've heard of winning an election, potentially winning an election of mayor, Muslim socialist of that, to add on to that. And if this guy wins, yo, that's big. That means a lot because Mamdani is more aligned with Bernie Sanders and that ideology. So Bernie Sanders was a candidate that picked up a lot of steam from the younger generation. He didn't win the Democratic nominee, but if he did, I do often wonder what that world would look like. Because if theoretically, if Bernie Sanders were to have won, right, and if he were to have done a good job, which with the level of political manipulation that you see these days, I don't know that it would have been looked at as good to everybody, but I don't think America would have fell apart. Just like I don't think New York is going to fall apart with Zoran Mamdani. But I am willing to admit that I am not like the most well-researched person when it comes to every area of politics, especially Mamdani. I mean, this guy really popped up just recently in my timeline, so I didn't know who the heck this guy was for a very long time. Now, I've done a bit of research into him. I know his background. I know where he came from. I know I have a basic understanding of his belief system, but I honestly don't fully trust him. You know, I understand how the marketing game works and how real leadership works as well. And just because a candidate is popular doesn't mean that they're going to be able to get the job done or fulfill the promises that they're giving. So I've seen it happen so many times that I'm not just like full on Mamdani. Mamdani being the mayor is not going to be the end of New York. I don't believe it's going to be the end of New York. I don't think it's going to work out perfectly. I think there's obviously going to be chinks in the system. I think Mamdani is going to have to put together, a strong team to help him lead and do his job, because New York is a very complex city that has always had issues with immigration, with rent pricing, the cost of living, with crime. These are things that we know about New York City just from being Americans. But New York City has never collapsed. It's always been a city that people have loved and accepted, even for all its flaws. And I think that's the issue here, where we have gotten so used to demonizing people who think differently than us that we forget to realize that there are entire populations of people in these cities that are okay with their way of life. And not everybody has to live up to the standard that you think is the right way to live. And that's where I believe a lot of manipulation comes in. And videos like these, right, they do well because of what is being talked about. The algorithm is feeding these videos that are divisive in rhetoric, that are extreme in rhetoric, that cause engagement. That's what is working. Engagement is working, and your perception of reality is based off of what you consume. And I think most people do not read books and really study how the system works and how even the mayor is able to make decisions within the realm of the legal justice system, the executive system, whatever. Like, all of those things go into account, and the average person doesn't have that understanding.